Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome back to another episode of Murata Media. I feel like I've been gone forever. It's been a while since my last review. But over the weekend, I got to see a movie that I have been looking forward to for quite some time. Rian Johnson's Whodunit, Knives Out. I was lucky enough to see an early screening of this movie. It doesn't officially come out until this weekend, but when I saw that there were early screenings showing near me, I just had to jump on the opportunity. Knives Out is about a man named Harlan Thrombey, played by Christopher Plummer, who's found dead in his home after his entire family comes to his estate to celebrate his birthday. And it's initially ruled as a suicide, but when a private detective comes to investigate, he believes that someone in the family murdered Harlan Thrombey. This is Rian Johnson's first movie since Star Wars: The Last Jedi came out in 2017. Yeah, we don't talk about The Last Jedi. And even though I personally did not enjoy The Last Jedi, the backlash that Rian Johnson received was just completely unwarranted. And the fact that people wrote this movie off simply because he was involved in it is just laughable. And I mean, how can you write off a movie with this cast? This is one of the most star-studded and impressive casts that I have seen in quite some time. Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Christopher Plummer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette. This is an unbelievably talented cast. There is not a single bad performance by anybody in this movie. A lot of the characters have their moment in the spotlight, but there are some that don't really get that much screen time as opposed to others, so their characters are overall pretty much expendable to the entire plot. But without a doubt, there are two standout characters in mind. Daniel Craig as the private detective Benoit Blanc, and Ana de Armas, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, as Harlan Thrombey's nurse, Marta. I was surprised how much I loved Armas's performance. She was great in this movie. And I love her character too, because she's this underprivileged girl who serves this rich family, and she kind of feels left out whenever she's at a function or a party with them, and as a result it makes it very easy for you to sympathize with her. Armas has been in other movies before. She was in Blade Runner 2049, but I think this movie is definitely a stepping stone to her becoming a more household name. But Daniel Craig, wow, Daniel Craig, what can I say about this guy? He plays this very snarky and witty detective with a southern accent, and that's something that I really want to touch on, because when I was looking at reviews for this movie before I saw it, one criticism I constantly saw was people saying that Daniel Craig's accent in this movie was very distracting, and I am here to break that trend because I can tell you right now that his accent was not distracting in the slightest. Even though the accent he talks in is slightly exaggerated, it felt so natural. And I think a reason I was so used to it is because he also talked with a southern accent in the movie Logan Lucky, which is one of my favorite movies in recent memory. And I thought he was astounding in that movie as well. And the acting thrives because the script is just exquisite. You really need to take your hat off to Rian Johnson for writing a whodunit in 2019. He was able to use these old school murder mystery tropes that you would see in a really old book while also remaining modern. And as a good murder mystery should, Knives Out really makes you think and contemplate everything you're watching as it's happening. Like, there are certain events that happen and lines that are spoken by characters that you don't really think about in the moment, but they actually come into play in the end. And the way Rian Johnson does it here, I thought was very clever, because there is a twist that happens very early in this movie that I honestly did not see coming. But said twist is very suspenseful, and it really kept me on the edge of my seat for the entire runtime. And on the surface, this is a murder mystery, but surprisingly, Knives Out gets so much more deeper than that. There are these themes of the contrast between the rich and the poor, affluence, and even how money can drastically change a person, which is also something that I wasn't expecting, but it is a very welcome surprise, because I would have been fine if Knives Out was just a surface murder mystery, and you just know there's gonna be people who will say, oh, the ending was so obvious, I guessed it so early on, it was so easy, this movie sucks. But I mean, that's expected. You're always gonna have people who think that they're smarter than everybody. And there is one nitpicky thing that bothered me. There were a few shots that I noticed, specifically at the beginning, that were a tad out of focus. But I was having so much fun that it really didn't bother me that much. But Knives Out is easily the most fun I've had watching a movie all year. This movie is very funny, very smart, and I hope that it sets a precedent so we can see more murder mysteries like this one in the future. Great job, Rian Johnson. You have truly redeemed yourself, at least in my eyes. And I really hope to see this movie get a nomination for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars in a few months. And overall, I'd give Knives Out a 9 out of 10. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching my review of Knives Out. If you guys saw it, please let me know what you thought about it. Did you love it just as me, or did you think it was a little overhyped? Be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like this review, and if you want to see more reviews like this, then hit that subscribe button. If you want to watch my past reviews, I'll link those right here. And other than that, I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.